we go.
Okay.
Hi,
That's
Dorothy. How are
hi,
you?
hi, Joy. It's so great to see you again. Welcome back, everyone, to Drops of Wellness Wisdom with Dorothy and Joy. We are getting ready to wrap up this season, and we have some fun things planned for you today.
We spent a lot of time talking about different diets and ways to eat. What does it mean to eat healthy and good food? One of the ones we didn't touch on yet was the Mediterranean diet. I know the word diet gets on top of Dorothy's nerves, but it's just another guideline for people. Did you want to talk a little bit about what the Mediterranean diet is?
Yeah, the Mediterranean diet, I guess, called because of people that live in, Greece and the Mediterranean area. This is the way they eat because these are the foods that are available to them in their location. This
Alrighty.
sounds such a little twit. This meeting is being recorded. Okay. All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Drops of Wellness Wisdom. I'm Joy with Dorothy, and we're kind of winding down our season, and there is one more episode left. We'll tell you about it at the end of this episode. But today we wanted to touch a little bit more on a few different other diets, including Mediterranean diet. Dorothy, you had some thoughts on that?
I do, Joy, yes, as I have thoughts about many of these diets, but the Mediterranean diet I think it's getting more and more popular all the time and named, I suppose, for the people who live in the Mediterranean. And these are the kinds of foods that are available to them in their climate, and things like fish and avocados and olives and fatty things like that. And overall, basically, to me, the Mediterranean diet seems to be just eat real food, but add a lot of olive oil. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, but so why do they have to call it a diet? It's certainly a healthy way of eating, but again, you've added that stricture. I'm not even going to say structure, but stricture of a parameter for your eating plan. So you have to follow these rules in order to be eating the Mediterranean diet. So, I mean, while I'm not opposed to the Mediterranean diet per se, I am a little bit reluctant to put parameters on how I eat like that, those kinds of parameters. So while I have nothing negative to say about the plan itself, I'm not a fan of plans and having a diet rules and things like that. So for me, that's really my only issue with the Mediterranean diet, is that it's just another framework that we don't necessarily need and that may put barriers on other foods that may be just as good for us but aren't part of the diet.
Right.
So that's my thoughts. So I don't know if you had any other thoughts. I know there were also some other sort of random titles for ways of eating that you wanted to talk about too. So let's kind of throw out those and just kind of say a few words about those, and then we'll move on.
Right. I'm fine with moving on. I mean, flexitarian was one, which is
What is that?
basically, I think I gather a version of vegetarianism or a way to like wean off meat and become a vegetarian, maybe. I don't know. But I'm with you. I think re eating real food is what's key. And not that we want to rely on government standards for anything as a rule, but the government did redo the food pyramid, which I'll show here, which I was relieved. Again, I don't know who looks at that. I guess I kind of remember it being posted in schools and things like that. But it used to be kind of dictated by the cereal companies and the bread companies, and it was like your foundation needs to be full of bread and wheat and cereal and rice. And now that's just a smaller part of your diet. So I tend to agree with that, that you're better off focusing on the real foods, the veggies, the meat, and butter is okay. And, you know, stay away from the sugars and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool that they made that major change with that. Yeah, all these diets, all these things. I mean, I've said before in our talks that I think there are some people that truly need a guideline. So if they need to follow a Mediterranean guideline just to teach them what food is and give them some recipe ideas, and maybe they get overwhelmed when they go to the store and be like, I don't know what to make for dinner. I don't understand, so I'm just going to buy like this easy pop in the microwave thing because it's easy. So having a guideline, I think, might be easy for some people to know how to do it. Not that it has to be complicated, but I know busy moms, busy dads can get overwhelmed. So, but I'm totally with you that eating the real food is what it comes down to. Sometimes those visual aids or those recipes can help people get there.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because we have been for so long, we've been sort of, again, like, why would we let the government tell us how to eat? But that's what we've done. And we've kind of allowed prevailing wisdom to tell us how to eat. And so most of us have kind of forgotten about real food. And so, I mean, I can see your point about having a framework. I don't know if I necessarily agree, because I think just the plan of eat real food can be framework enough. And
Yeah.
like, if you're going to the store and like you're picking up your Pop-Tart or your head of broccoli, which is the real
I
food.
hope
So
people know, yeah, right. But then you see confusing labeling, right? Like organic Pop-Tart, sounds healthier. When people get into this weird, like, oh, it's gluten-free, it must be healthy. So some of the labeling and marketing can be tricky for people.
very true. Marketing, the labels, and like what I tell my people is, don't learn how to read labels, learn how to buy food that doesn't have a label.
Yeah, yeah,
Because yeah, the labeling, like gluten-free, it's meaningless,
right,
extra protein, meaningless. All
right,
these labels are marketing ploys to get the big companies want you to buy their food. And so they
right.
put these labels on, to make it sound healthy.
Yeah.
There was a box of crackers at someone's house, and it was, I forget the brand name, but it was like Nature Made or something like that. So just this huge label on the box of crackers, Nature Made. But then you look at the ingredients, and there was probably 30 ingredients. None of them were like real food.
Mm,
So you see you think, oh, this company is making all natural crackers.
I know.
No.
I know.
So for me, and we've talked about diets that focus on macronutrients. We focused on, all the different things that the different diets are focusing on. And you see this a lot in the wellness space, where a lot of these influencers, particularly, like, these influencers are all over social media, and they're all being paid. They're about being sponsored to sell a product ultimately, but they all have picked one thing, this one food group, or this one vitamin, or this one exercise, or this one habit is going to be the answer to all your problems. And life on earth is just far more complex than that. So there isn't one answer to anything, and it all works together in this amazing synergy that is life on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And to try and pick one thing, like most of these diets, like, they talk about the fat, or they talk about the meat, or they talk about, they focus on, keto is all eat the fat, carnivore is all eat the meat, vegetarian is all only eat the vegetables. When in reality, our relationship with what we eat is so much more complex than that. And food isn't calories. Food isn't macronutrients. Food isn't even necessarily micronutrients. Food is information. Food is energy. And I don't mean the caloric kind of energy. I mean sunlight. Food is packaged sunlight.
Hmm.
We are utilizing this beautifully packaged sunlight to fuel our bodies. It's not about the calories, and it's not about the macronutrients. It's about the information we're giving our body, and the nurturing that we're giving our body. And when we eat real food, fresh from the earth, like, if you even just have, like, even if you live in an apartment, you can have like a little windowsill garden and grow some herbs, or grow some little lettuces, and just get your kids involved. And just, I can guarantee you, if you grow your own lettuce and you pick that leaf of lettuce, you will never taste anything as good as that piece of lettuce that you grew yourself in your own little patch of whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what food is. Food is something that we should just honor our bodies with.
Hmm.
It's not like, you shouldn't, like, you go to the bookstore, I think we've mentioned this before, and there's like an entire section, vast amount of books on diets.
Yeah.
So there's always a new book coming out. You don't need a new book. You just need to eat real
Actual
food.
food. Yeah.
And that's, so if you're, I mean, I understand the confusion. There's so much conflicting information out there. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody thinks the way they do it is right. And for me, the beauty of just eat real food is that can look different for everybody and still be right.
Hmm.
My version of eating real food is going to be different than even your version. We're probably closer than many other people, but there's certain foods I like, certain foods I don't like. There's certain foods that agree with me, certain foods that don't. As long as I'm starting from the premise of, where did this food come from? Did it come from a
The earth.
factory, or
Earth.
did it come from somebody's backyard?
Yeah.
As long as I'm starting there, where I build from, there's endless choices.
Yeah.
And you can still be healthy and eat what you love. And I mean, everybody these days has a farmer's market, even in food deserts. They're harder to find, sure. But you could find, like, some people, I know there's this really great documentary came out, and he's Rob Herring, I think, and he did one a few years ago, and this is his newer one. It's called FARMmacy of Light, FARMmacy, FARMacy, FARMmacy of Light. And he talks about how eating food is eating sunlight. And there's this other guy, Eric something or other, I don't remember. Joe, I'm sure you can look it up, but he goes in the middle of cities in parking lots, and he takes over like a certain because like there are, I don't know how many, like 10 times more parking spaces available in the United States than there are cars.
Yeah.
So he takes parking lots, and right in these parking lots in the middle of cities, he has these food socks that these tubes that he puts in with like the most nutrient dense soil, and he grows like vast amounts, and he just gives them away to food banks. And it's just like it's possible. And if more people learned about how to do things like that, more of these food deserts would become food lush.
Right.
And it's possible. It's always possible. There's a way to eat real food even in these food deserts, as long as we start to begin to educate people on how they can do this. Everybody can start to grow their own sprouts.
Right.
You don't need anything to grow sprouts, and that is some of the most nutrient dense, that is the most nutrient dense food that we could possibly grow. And all you need is a few square feet of counter space to do that. And you're pretty much eating pure sunlight and amazing amounts of nutrition in just one cup of like broccoli sprouts. So
yeah, it's so good. There's places in Hartford that are doing that, finding either parking lots or vacant areas to just grow food instead of grass everywhere. It's so silly. I was at a major grocery store recently and I ran into my naturopath in the produce section. And then I noticed I picked out my produce and I went around the store and I look over and I see her. She's still in the produce section. Like she spent her whole time picking out her vegetables. And I don't know what if she bought meat and eggs too, but it was like because that was where the real food was. Even in this, high-end health food grocery store, big grocery store, there's still junky food and not all real food even in that. So
it's true.
I just
Yeah.
thought
Even
that
in
was
some
it.
of these bigger,
Yeah.
supposedly healthy stores,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, there's the produce and even a lot of the produce is like shrink wrapped, like organic zucchini, shrink wrapped in plastic. Like,
I
why
know
would you
that's
do that? It's like,
ridiculous.
yeah. So you do have to be careful, and you do have to you do have to educate yourself on some of these things. And you're not going to be perfect right away. You're going to, you still, it's not something you can do overnight. Switch from the standard American diet to eating more healthy. It's baby steps, just like anything else. But each step that you take is a step towards better health, more awareness. And the more aware you become, the healthier you become, people will notice. And that's how it grows. And you can share, and your friends will say, "Oh, you're looking really good. What are you doing?" And you can say, "Well, I'm starting to eat more real food. And this is how easy it is and how delicious it is." And I mean, people like my kids will never eat that, but I have seen it over and over again. If you get the kids involved right from the start of growing their own food,
Yes.
it becomes so much easier to get them involved and to get them to actually eat it. Like,
That's,
my little 7-year-old, you try and get her to eat some. "Oh, grandma, that's disgusting." That's her favorite word these days. "That's disgusting." Like, oh my gosh, it makes me laugh. But if she was involved, like, and her dad has a nice garden, so like
yeah.
she gets involved in that, and that's where she learns how to eat some of these things that a lot of kids might be opposed to. But I know when they're involved, it's a lot easier to get them to eat it if they've helped to grow it and help to nurture it. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's a whole synergistic thing. We forget how important everything in this world is for our, it's all synergistic. It's not, we're not just like, we're the best and everything else is here to serve us. We all need to work together. And like, there are trillions, there are more, we are more non-human cells than we are human cells,
Exactly.
right?
That
Even
always
within our
blows
own
me
body.
away. Yeah. That blows my
There's
mind.
like, I don't know, we have 30 trillion human cells and something like 60 trillion, I don't know, though, don't quote me on those numbers, but it's something like that, 60 trillion non-human cells. And, and without those, we would not survive,
Yeah. So we
which
better.
is why again, and I was reminded of this because so long had my own garden and everything, and so toxins were never a part of it. And I had somebody talk to me about glyphosate and Roundup the other day, and it just reminded me of how that one chemical alone has been the destruction of so much of our world and our health, and because it damages all of the microbes in our body, and that's one of the main mechanisms it uses to destroy us. So we need all those microbes, and we need when like for me, when the carnivores say, well, humans don't need vegetables, I'm like, well, possibly, but all the microbes that live in us do.
Yes.
Without there's some like butyrate and all these other things that our microbes produce. They make hormones. They use the minerals. Without them, we wouldn't be able to survive, and they need the vegetables. That's how they survive.
And that's essential to our survival.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
even when you think of taking care of the earth so you get the good food, like with meat products, with grass-fed beef, we're eating what they ate. When we eat a piece of meat, we're eating what you're eating ate. So you better hope that it's eating good food, that it's made to eat. The cows that are fattened up with grains and things that they're not intended to eat aren't going to taste good or be good for our bodies. So
Nope, they are
it's
not.
it's a very important lesson and a good reminder from you. So appreciate that. I think our listeners will appreciate that. I'll just talk about food. I don't think we've touched on hydration.
It's true. And that is as important as food in many ways. How much and what kind of water you drink and when you drink it, if you drink it.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a big, like, particularly these days with so much water coming from municipal water systems, and people turn on their taps without thinking about it. And that can be a problem. So the quality of the water you drink is important.
The timing of when you drink, not to get all like we talked about, not wanting to count everything and be really particular, but if you don't drink a lot while you're eating a meal, you help your stomach acids do their job, right? Better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so many of us like think that we have to drink a lot of water while we eat, and honestly, and I drink some water while I eat. It just moistens my mouth, whatever. It makes some food go down more easily. But if you drink too much water when you eat, you're diluting your stomach acids, which reduces the ability for them to digest your food. And like your digestion actually starts when you see and smell your food.
Hmm.
That's when you start to produce saliva and some of these other enzymes. And then you eat it and you break it down with your teeth and your more saliva. So by the time it gets to your stomach, it's actually well on its way to being digested. But once it gets there, your stomach acid is really, at that point, it's going to really start to break down your food into its component parts and send it the rest of the way down. So if you've diluted that and flooded your stomach with too much water, your stomach acid is going to be very diluted and won't be able to efficiently break down your food. So I think it is important. I again, like you said, don't get crazy with measuring like I can only have 2 ounces of water or whatever. That don't worry too much about that. Again, I think we've gotten too much into this system of like counting and measuring and structure and all this, and we've forgotten to just listen to our bodies. We've lost the ability to just listen. Our bodies are always talking to us, always, and they know what's best all the time. So just when you eat, just be aware, like drink if you need to, but just try and be aware of not drinking too much at the same time. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about, oh, did I just drink too much? Did I not drink enough? Don't worry
Yeah.
about that. Just kind of listen to your body, but be aware that drinking too much can be counterproductive to a healthy digestion. So but yeah, it's summertime now when we're recording this. I'm not exactly sure when this will make it up. It'll probably still be summer, but a lot of people think about hydrating in the summer, which obviously it's important because we're sweating out salts and liquids and all that. So it is absolutely important to rehydrate. Again, it's important to think about the water that you drink when you, and I'm not talking Gatorade, because there are so many things and things, some of these electrolyte drinks that are not good for you. But the water that comes from your municipal water system has been processed, obviously, because we're not going to be drinking poop water. I mean, you need to do something to clean it, but it has removed, there's nothing living left in that water. There's no minerals. There's nothing left in that water. And water is so much more than H2O.
Mhm.
People think, oh, it's just H2O. No, there's more to it than that. And without certain minerals in your water, your body isn't going to be able to, it's the minerals that carry the water around to do the things it needs to do. So it's important to, you don't want to like shake a shaker salt in your, but a little pinch of salt can help to remineralize your water
Mhm.
so that you're using your water a little bit better. There are some electrolyte powders. We can link some. I don't know, Joy, if you, how you feel about linking a couple in the
Sure.
notes. I know the one that we enjoy a lot, but even just some, and I'm not talking Morton's table salt. I'm talking something like a Celtic sea salt or Redmond's real salt, something that still has all the minerals that it came out of the earth with. Just add a little bit into your water can help to rehydrate, but it's also just as important, and it may not seem like it, to hydrate in the winter, because we're all stuck inside and the heat's going, and that heat will tend to dehydrate you as well, because the heat is pulling the moisture. It will really dry you out. I know if I don't have my humidifier going in the winter, I'll get very, very dry. So it's important to keep yourself hydrated all year long.
And all day so that you're not all of a sudden taking in a lot of liquid with your meal or your meal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wake up and
There are
wake up
people I
and
know.
drink and just a glass of water in the morning is real cleansing.
Yeah, so yeah, I like to do a glass of water. A lot of people say warm water. I just use room temperature water with some lemon juice in it, or some lemon essential oil. I like to do that and just kind of sip it slowly over the course of an hour or so in the morning. Some people chug it. I'm not sure I'm necessarily personally a fan of chugging a couple glasses first thing in the morning. I think that might be a little bit too much water, but do what works for you. You know, I mean, however you can get your water in, it is important to stay hydrated and drink water, good water throughout the day whenever possible. So yes, that is important.
So speaking of when to drink and timing of that, do we want to touch on our next topic for the next call as far as timing of eating?
Yes, yes, we have talked this season, and I hope you all have enjoyed what we've shared with you this season. I This is a subject that is so near and dear to my heart, and you may have guessed I have thoughts. I have thoughts about these things. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed what we've talked about, maybe learned something, maybe it's helped you make some better choices, or maybe you're like, well, they don't know what they're talking about. Either way, I hope you had fun. So we've been talking all season about food. So what's left to talk about?
Not
No
food.
food. So our last episode this season is going to be, we're going to talk about fasting. I know there's a lot of misconception out there about fasting, and I know there's a lot of fear around fasting. In our next episode, we're going to share our thoughts, how to do it, if you should do it, whether you shouldn't do it. Humans evolved to fast. I mean, there weren't McDonald's on every corner 200,000 years ago. So we had to work for our food and often went days without it. So the human body's no stranger to fasting. So we'll get into
Exactly.
more detail on that for
All
next
right.
time. This is another subject that I have thoughts on, and
Hmm.
I like this subject. I think it's a really good one, and I do think there's a lot that people don't understand about fasting. So if you're curious about fasting, um, tune in next time and we will talk more. And we would love to hear your thoughts. If you have questions about fasting, or if there's anything that we missed about food or nutrition that you would like us to touch on, feel free to drop it in the comments and we will address that next time.
Excellent. Yeah. Eating real food is going to pan out in the long run. Your brain health, your overall energy levels and things will just be much more stable when you
Yes, and even eating meat, you're still eating the sunshine, because like you said, what we eat, we're eating what we ate.
yeah,
So even if you're eating the meat ate the grass, which is fed from the sunshine.
yeah.
So, and the people who are talking about, I don't remember if we talked about this before, and people are blaming growing meat for the climate crisis. And it's not the meat, it's how the meat is grown. If I think we did talk about this, if it's grown in those concentrated animal feeding operations, yes, that is horrible for the earth. It's horrible for people. It's horrible for the animals. It's horrible all the way around. But a nice, healthy, regenerative farm needs the animals. That's part of the process. If you don't want to eat them, that's your choice. But the healthy farm needs the animals to it's a whole cycle.
Keeps it all in balance. Exactly.
Yes. So ultimately, we are still eating sunshine. Don't hide from the sun.
No.
Don't hide from the sun.
No.
Core principle number 1 in my book. What's core principle number 1 in my book? Good morning, sunshine. We cannot survive without light. We are not creatures of the deep sea. We need the sunshine.
All right, Dorothy, this was great.
Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure, Joy.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me, and we'll see you all next time.
Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, share with your friends, and we will see you next time to talk all about things fasting.